Hey guys, today we've got something completely different. Seems like every time I'm at the field I get a couple of questions about some piece of gear or another. So I decided to show everybody what my normal loadout consisted of. If I'm going to the field for a day, all I really need is two things. My gun, which is in its case, and my loadout pack, which has everything I'll need for a day at the field, including all my video gear and my backup batteries. So, let's take a look and see what's in the bag. Now, like I said, everything I need for the day is here. The only thing that's not in there is my pants and my shirt, because camouflage is seasonal, so I don't include that in here. I put that on before I go. I wear it to the field. Otherwise, everything I need is in there. So let's see what we got. Okay, now I guess the best way to do this is just to go ahead and take everything out and then go over what it is. To begin with, got my hydration pack, which I won't go without. And I got my snake boots. Been using these for probably about 30 years now. I did all my hunting and turkey hunting with them. They've had season after season. 30-inch Rocky snake boots, waterproof all the way up to your knees. Can't really go wrong with those boots. They will last forever. They'll keep you dry, and if you're concerned about snakes, they're snake proof as well. Alright, now let's see what's inside. Goggles, camera, mask, gloves, and headgear, which is just a hood that's got some simulated leaves hanging off of it. My dead rag attached to my sling. Top, pull it out, pull it over my head. Makes it a little easier, quicker to get at so you don't get shot too much when you're hit. Everything else is right there. I've gotten away from having anything hanging down on my legs. I want everything center, and I try and stay as light as I can and be as free and able to move as freely as I can. So I found for me the best thing is just a simple molly belt. Everything's right there. I don't use a drop leg anymore. My 1911 is right there on my hip, so it's amazing what it does for your mobility out there, and it just allows me to be lighter and quicker and just move around a little bit easier. So that's pretty much everything. We can go over what's in it and why I use it here, but that's pretty much it. The only other things I have in my bag is I have, besides my hydration pack here, I've got an extra canteen, which to be honest with you usually has Dr. Pepper in it. This is my video bag here. It's got all my video gear and camera accessories, as well as my cameras right now. Gun cam, the scope cam, the selfie cam. Got my spare batteries. Got a couple of things in here. I've got tear-offs and just a couple extra accessories. I got a spare small set of goggles for when I have to change the battery on my goggles cam and I have to take them off. I've always got them with me in my pocket. So other than those major things, let's just go over some of these smaller items and I'll explain to you why it is that I chose them and why I use them. Now, like I said, that's pretty much everything. I've got a couple of small things left in here. I've got my throat mic for when I'm doing certain fields and certain ops. I'll use that normally. I just use a regular earpiece when I do have comm in. Got my mag that I start off with. These are all my spares. Speed loader. I have tear-offs in here for my goggles, which I use. It just seems to work out good for me. Makes it last longer and actually gives them a nice glare that works like a mirror. My video gear, like I said, it's my cameras, my spare batteries, connectors, all my spare batteries, as a matter of fact, for all three of my cameras. I'll do that in another video. So right now we're not going to go over what's in that. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And that leaves the meat and potatoes here, which is my molly belt. And pretty much, you know, mesh headgear. It's got a soft bottom to it so I can move. I can go ahead and look down. It's great. It folds right away. I like this particular mask. It works well for me. Definitely want full face protection. Now this is what everybody always wonders about. They wonder where the video is coming from. I don't use a GoPro. The GoPros are great, but ever since the beginning I've used these. It's my fourth pair of goggles, and they're liquid image goggles. The first three pairs I had were 720. These are 1080 at 60 frames a second. They've really stepped up. I love them. The reason I use them is because the camera is right there. It's right between my eyes. If I look through a crack or through a hole, you see what I'm looking at. It's you know, always the situations, the few times that I did use a GoPro on my head, you know, that was always the case. I'd look through a little opening and the camera would be up above and not picking it up at all. So I just love the video that I get with these. There are some GoPros that probably have a little bit better quality, but the quality is really good on this, especially with the new ones at 60 frames a second. So they've definitely stepped up, and I think the video quality is really good with them now. I won't be out there with any kind of goggles that I don't have a fan, because fan is the elimination for fogging. You hit that switch and fogging goes away, no questions. As a matter of fact, our sponsors, Tactical Advantage Systems, are going to be selling these fan kits. This is one style, but there's 3 different styles. There's the squirrel cage type like this. There's 1 and 2 fan models that have micro fans. There's some that have sub micro fans, excuse me. They my goggles here, they'll actually fit in the tiny openings I have in these goggles, which is about half the size of most. So they've got good selection, and we're going to be selling those things for them here really quick. So that's something to look for in the future. So those are my goggles slash cams. So my belt, that's pretty much all that's left. And like I said, it's just a molly belt, as simple as that. It comes with suspenders if you want to use them. I don't find I even need to use it. It's wide and padded. It's got some leather for grip in here. I find that I don't have any problem with it moving around or sliding. It stays right up there. It's very comfortable. You don't sweat too bad in it. This particular one, I forget the manufacturer. I'll try and look that up and put a link on that. I think it may be Condor, but I may be wrong about that. But I like the setup. It's got my M4 mags here in the front. I can put other things. I got my spare 1911 mag there. I got smoke, whatever you want to put in there. Just a basic molly pouch. I love these things here. These are my mid caps. I start off the game with 3 high caps, and I keep them here in my speed clip holders. And I love these things. Never fall out, and you just stick them in like that, pop them right back in. It's as quick as that. Pull it out, pop it right back in, and they'll never fall out. They're great. I love these things. And other than that, I've got my drop leg rig that can also be set up for a waist, and that's what I got it now. I have the strap around my leg to keep it from moving around, but other than that, I don't use the drop leg anymore because it really bothers me and hinders my movement. So that's pretty much hanging up there on the waist. I've got my comm bag, which my radio goes in. Right now I've just got my headset in there. I don't use radios all the time, but sometimes when we're all out there we do use them, so got my setup for that. And otherwise, the only thing missing here is the good old 1911. Elite Force 1911. It's been around for a while now. Works great. I love it. It's a CO2 cartridge, blowback, and man, this one cartridge that's in it right now, if I ran the action, it would fire. And I'm not kidding you, I've got probably 2 months on that. I don't use it all that often. It doesn't leak off. When I do use it, it's, you know, always works for me. Love this gun. You've seen some good footage of this if you've watched some of my videos. So that's pretty much it. That's my loadout. My hydration pack, just a normal hydration pack. The reason I got all this crazy stuff on it is simply because it, you know, was a color that didn't blend in quite as well as I'd like to. This actually works out really well. I hate it when people sneak up behind me, so I try and stay hidden as much as possible. Other than that, like I said, the boots, Rockies, 30-inch snake boots. I've had these things literally for 20 years. I was a professional turkey hunting guide for probably about 8 seasons, where I was in the woods every day of turkey season, taking people running them up and down the hills of Kentucky. Same boots I had back then. Probably, like I said, if I really thought about it, it's probably 25 years plus of hard use on these, and they don't show anywhere at all. Matter of fact, right now they're still caked with muck from the mud in the swamp over there at Ground Zero. And I think that's about it, other than the gun. The gun, my primary gun anyway, is a Crytac CRB with TAS upgrades done to it with a tight bore barrel. I'm not going to go into the specifics right now about what brands and everything. I might put a list up in the video on that, but it's been upgraded. It doesn't have upgrade spring, stock spring, but it does have the tight bore barrel. It's flat hopped. We've got our hops in some of our guns. This particular gun just shoots so good the way it is. Definitely well out over 200 feet is no problem at all. I've got kind of an odd scope set up here. Instead of popping it up high and having the camera up even higher, I've got my camera rig up on top, and this drops off to the side, and I love it. It works great. I'm not completely happy with this. It's the only thing on my rig that's not complete yet. If it was higher, it would be a little better. When I bring it up, I've got to raise my gun. The bottom of my stock butt plate is on my shoulder, so I can still be steady with it, but not as steady as I would be if I had it locked. So I really want that up a little bit higher. You know, maybe having the same rig but turned up. But I'm not really doing anything about that right now because my sponsor, Tactical Advantage Systems, is in the process of designing me one. So as soon as that's out, that will be one upgrade. Other than that, I'm really happy with the gun. The gun is just incredible. Never fails me and shoots like a laser beam. What else can I say about the gun? It's a great gun. I highly recommend them. They come with stock MOSFETs in them. Got a great trigger feel. You can use your choice in batteries if you like to go fully auto, which I almost never ever do. You can put a bigger battery in it and get a faster cyclic rate. It's great the way it is for me. I use a 2-cell in it. That's about it. My battery for the camera hides under it really well. Love the gun. Now, as far as the video gear goes, I'm going to do a follow-up video talking a little bit more about that. What kind of cams I use, what kind of video editing equipment I use. But for now, just to touch on it a little, my selfie cam is a GoPro style cam mounted out there at the end of the gun, but it's one of those cheap knockoffs, one that you'd get from eBay or Amazon. I'd call it disposable, which is great. For my gun cam, I use the Runcam 2, which right now I think is the best one on the market. It's the only one at 1080 at 60 frames a second. Everything else is 30 frames a second at 720. So right now that's the best camera out there in my opinion. It's the one that I invested in. For my scope cam, I've got a 35mm lens on it. That is going to be upgraded very soon. I've ordered a 90mm lens, get a little bit closer on those hits. Other than that, like I said, my main cam is in the middle of the goggles there. They're liquid image. Those are the new liquid image impact series at 1080, 60 frames a second. I've got 3 pairs of the 720s. That's my 4th pair. I love them. Luckily, the batteries are all interchangeable. And I think that pretty much covers everything. I hope this answered some of your questions. I hope it wasn't too boring for you guys. Let me know what you think. And as usual, thanks for watching. This is Smoke from TAS Airsoft. See you next time.